Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. As most of you know, I've been facing some health challenges the past few months that have interfered with my card making. I've been really frustrated. I just posted a short explanation video about it last week. I'll link to it up here in the right top corner just in case you want to check it out. Anyway, as a friend said, I'm still making lemonade with the lemons that I've been given. So I'm starting a whole new mini-series on teaching you some fun and easy digital ideas that you can integrate into your regular card making. And remember, I said fun and easy. Okay, just remember that. As you know, I'm all about helping you discover new ways to bless others. And I really think that these techniques will help you expand your repertoire for doing that. For most of this series, I will be demonstrating using a great software program called Canva. Some of you may already be familiar with it. It's completely web-based, so you don't have to download anything onto your computer, and it's also free. I think those two aspects make it perfect for our digital design adventures together. I've been working with Canva for several years now, even before I retired. I used to use it to design training for both my college students and for university faculty. Since then, it has greatly expanded, and I've learned a lot more too. As I prepared for this video, I checked in my Canva account and I was completely shocked to discover that I have published 880 designs made with Canva in just the last year. I use it for all of my Facebook graphics, for Instagram posts, and for card making. And recently I used Canva to design both of the kids' activity books that I have published on Amazon. Yes, I said both. I published the first one in early September, and as you know, that one developed out of making coloring sheets for my grandkids when I was laid up this summer, and it turned into a book. And I just published a second one a couple weeks ago, and it's based on Thanksgiving, and I am really excited about it because it's completely in color, and I applied some lessons that I learned during the first book process with Amazon. So I'm real happy with the second one, and I'm excited that it got published, and I made the entire thing on Canva. So although I'm not an expert, I have lots of tips and tricks to share with you on this journey. And I hope that that blesses you. I really do. Canva does have a pro membership too, and that offers more resources and it gives you more capabilities, and that's what I use. I'll include a link in the description below, just in case you're interested in a 30-day trial. But I'm planning to use only the free version in our tutorials together, so you don't need to worry about anything. Just follow along and have fun. Today we're starting by designing a custom sentiment or decoration that can be printed directly onto your card, or it can be printed and fussy cut as ephemera. This technique can also be used as a type of e-card where you can save it as a photo and then email it to your friends or family. I think you're going to love it, so let's get started. First, I want to show you several samples that I made so that you'll get the concept and the idea. Then we'll go directly to Canva and I'll walk you through the process. This first example is for my youngest granddaughter, who's named Evelyn, and she goes by Ava. She's just 4.5. She loves flowers and all things pink, so I included plenty of flowers and hearts and even put some white paint splashes on there to make her name special. The next example is simply a bon voyage wish for some special friends that I filled with images of cruises, tropical shores, and relaxation. This one is for Noah, who is my 13-year-old grandson who loves golf. I don't think there's any more explanation needed except to say that kids really love having their names filled with what excites them. I think you could even print and frame one of these to put on a shelf in their room, and in fact, I'm thinking maybe I will do that for all 6 of my grandkids for Christmas. I made this example to demonstrate that you can use any font you like as long as it is thick enough to accommodate all of these little small images. But use your imagination. Not everything has to be in big block letters. Finally, I wanted to show you that this process can be applied to anything, not just to lettering. Here we have a festive birthday cake made in the same way. So use your imagination and your creativity to see what you can create with this technique. And I hope that you'll post the results in our card making community. It's the only way that I can see them, and I just really want to see what you do. So now that you have the concept of where we're going in this lesson, let's check out the Canva website and really get started. Okay, I've opened up an incognito window here in my browser just so that it won't recognize me and automatically log me into Canva. So all you need to do is go on whatever browser you use and type in canva.com, and you'll get this screen here. And then it says sign up for free right here in the middle. So you can click on it and it'll bring up this screen here that says you can sign in through Google or through Facebook or through your email. It doesn't matter. It's really easy to do. There are no conditions with it. It's completely free and it's web-based, so therefore you are not going to be downloading anything to your computer. Everything you do in Canva will be right here on the web, and it will save whatever you design, but it saves it in the cloud, not on your computer. So it's just great the way that it works. So you go ahead and sign up and get your free account, and then it will open up the home screen. And it says at the top, what will you design today? And there are so many choices. It says you might want to try a whiteboard. That's if you have a team you're sharing with and it's got an interactive online whiteboard, a story for Facebook or Instagram, a video, a photo collage, desktop wallpaper, phone wallpaper, a presentation. And as you can see, it goes on and on. An Instagram post, an Instagram story, a YouTube banner, a Facebook post. This is where I make all of my Facebook posts that I put onto our Facebook group. So you can make videos. It's just got everything, and I suggest that you just come on here sometime and check it out. There's so many different things you can do, and this is, like I said earlier, it's where I design my book covers. So there's lots of choices here. But what we're going to do today is go over here to custom size. Because if I clicked on one of these down here or any of the other choices that they have pre-made, they're already sized to the exact right size of document that you want. So you don't have to worry about what's the perfect size to put on to Facebook or what's the perfect size to put on whatever. You don't have to worry about that because you just click on their pre-made one and it comes up exactly the right size, which is awesome. But today what we're going to do is go over here to custom size. And the reason that we're going to do that is because I want to make the area that we're working on and that we're designing in the right size for whatever card we're going to use with this. So therefore, if I wanted to fit into a regular A2 size card vertically, then I would make my space to fit within that 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch space. Now what I usually do if I'm going to do something like this is do it 3 3/4 inch by 5 so that it doesn't go all the way to the edges of the card. Or if you're going to do it horizontal, you're going to do it where the width is equal to 5 inches and the height is equal to 3 3/4 inches. Just like you would if you were going to make a panel for the front of your card or a panel to fit into the inside of your card with a little margin around it. So the first thing you need to do on here is change this from pixels to inches. So you just click here and change this to inches. And now we're going to go ahead and put in 3.75 inches and the height to be 5.0 inches. So then I'm going to click on create a new design, and this is going to come up the exact size of what I want to create. Now, the wording that we're going to create is not going to take up this whole space, although we could design something that big. But what I want to do today is to make a design that will fit toward the top of this and then leave room toward the bottom for me to write my personal comments or my personal message to the person who's going to receive the card. But to do that, I have to be able to visualize what it's going to look like in the card, and I need to be able to have it a size that it's going to print out so that I can cut it to the right size panel and be having it fit in my A2 size card. So hopefully that makes sense to you. If we look over here to the left, this whole panel shows you all the options of what you can do in Canva to design this empty space over here. But before we actually start to design our card, let's review what we've already talked about. First, go to canva.com and sign up for a free account. Next, click on Custom Size and enter your measurements. For an A2 card, a vertical card would be 3.75 inches times 5 inches, and the horizontal would be the exact opposite. And then you click on Create a New Design. So now we're finally able to start our design for the day. And the first thing we're going to do is to go up here where it says Untitled Design, and I'm going to put in Noel because I decided we were going to do something a little Christmassy today to get in the mood. So I'm just going to title it Noel, and that's the word that we're going to use. And so to type that out, we're going to go over here to where it says text with the big T. And there's a lot of options that they give you here, but I don't want to confuse you with them, so we're just going to do add a heading because it is the biggest we can put in here. So I'm going to put it in all caps, and I'm going to do Noel. And as you can see, that comes out really skinny and kind of small. So the next thing we're going to do is leave it highlighted, which means it has this box around it. And we're going to go up here to where there's a drop-down menu for the type of font that we want to pick, and I'm going to pick this one at the top called Brassica. And you can see it changed to that. Now I'm going to take one of these corner dots on the box, and I'm going to just hold down my left mouse button and drag it out, and then I'll take the other corner and drag it out again because I want this to take up the entire horizontal space. And then I'm going to just move it up here by just holding my mouse button down again. Now I also don't want it black, so I'm going to change the color in a minute, but you can see that there's a red line down the middle of the page, and that helps you center it. When you have it right there, it means that the pattern is centered. Now, while we still have the box around it, let's go up here to this A where there's colors underneath it, and we're going to change it to this green. There are actually a lot more colors to choose from than what are in this little panel here, but again, today I want to try to just be simple, so we're just going to choose that green, and you can see that the letters have changed to green. So we've got our basic Noel here, but the one thing that we do want to do is we want to make sure that it's locked so that it doesn't move around while we're trying to do other things. So let's go ahead, and we're going to go over here to this little lock up here in the corner, and while this is highlighted, meaning while it's got the little box around it, we're going to go ahead and click on that lock, and it will be locked in on our page. So now what I'm going to do is zoom in a little bit down here with this slider so that I can see it better. And now the fun part begins. We're going to start adding our little elements to it. Now to add elements, we just go right over here on the left menu where it says Elements. and there's all kinds of things to pick. And what I did was I just typed in Christmas, just as simple as that, and it brings up, I can't even begin to tell you how many elements it brings up for you to choose from. We're going to pick graphics, but there's also Christmas photos, videos, and Christmas music under audio. But today we're just going to do graphics to make our Noel font here. And I'm also going to go up here where there's these little sliders, because it's going to allow me to filter my results. And what I want to do today is I wanted to click free, because you can see it has free and pro. And even though I have the pro membership, I want to do everything free so that you can see what you can do with your free account. So I'm only going to have it show me the elements that are free, and then also static versus animated, because I don't need animated elements that are going to be moving around when we put them there. So we're just going to do static and free, and we're going to apply the filters, and then you're going to see that there's still just tons of elements, and they go on and on and on of what we can do to add to our Noel here. Now, what I have already done is, just in the essence of time, I have gone through and chosen certain ones, and here they are right over here. I was able to save them in a folder, and again, that's a pro option for the pro account, is that you can have unlimited folders to be able to organize things in. And so I went ahead and saved it. Here it says Noel Elements, and these are all the elements that I used. So all I'm going to do is start dragging these elements over here. Now you're going to see that this one, as well as some of the others, is actually black and white, and I want it to be white. So all I'm going to do is come up here while it has the bounding box around it, while it's selected and it has this box around it. I'm going to come up here to where you see this black square. This is where you pick colors. And I'm just going to click on the square, and then I'm going to go down here and click on white. And that means it turned everything that was black into white. Well, now we can't see it, but we're going to make it smaller by dragging that corner, and then I'm going to move it up here on top of the Noel, and all of a sudden we have a problem. Uh-oh, I can't see that white. Well, that's because this present that I'm working with right now is actually behind the Noel on the paper. And so what I want to do is bring it to the front so that I can see it. So it still has a little box around it. I'm going to go up to position, and I'm going to click forward, and then you're going to see it because it's moved forward in front of the Noel on the green. And I'm just going to make it small, and then what I'm going to do is there's this little icon here that when you hold your mouse over it, it turns into a curved arrow, and if you hold your mouse button down while you move it, it rotates it. So I'm just going to put this little present right here, and pretty much that's the exact same thing we're going to do with everything. Even with these colored images like this bow, I'm just going to drag it over here, and then what I'm going to do is go up here to these colored boxes that show all the colors in this image, and I'm just going to click on them, and each one I'm going to turn white. And so how hard is that? That is not hard. You just change all the colors to white, and then you make the image tiny by holding your left mouse button down and dragging. I'm going to make this bow really tiny, and then decide where I want to put it, and I think I want to put it up here. I already kind of figured this out because I didn't want to waste time with you having to think about all my thought processes with me. I'm going to turn this one a little bit by holding on that icon, and there we go. So for most of these images, that's all you're going to do. Now for something like the candy cane, I'm going to drag it over, and if I changed everything to white, it would look just like a shepherd's crook or whatever. It wouldn't look like an actual candy cane. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the red to white, and then the outline, what I'm going to do is make it green, just like the background. So it's a green and white candy cane. And then I'm going to just hold my mouse button down and make this a tiny green candy cane. And then I want to put that here, but it looks kind of funny because it's facing that direction. So all I'm going to do is flip it. So while the bounding box is around it and it's selected, I'm going to go up here to flip and flip horizontal, and it'll make the candy cane go the other way. And now it looks a lot better in that O. And then I just wanted to point out, oh, well, you can see I'm back here on this color because we've been doing the colors up here. I'm on the color panel. You just have to go down to where you want to be. So you would go to elements to pick another element, and I'm going to go to the folder Noel elements because I already have all of my elements chosen. Another thing I wanted to point out to you is that some of these look black on there, but actually they are black, but I can see them up here. It's just that probably from your distance you can't see them. So here's a black angel. I'm just going to go up to the black box here and change it to white. Now I can't see her because she's on a white background, but I'm going to make her really tiny. And then I'm going to move her. You can either click on this and drag the box, or you can click on this little cross arrow icon and drag that. And I'm going to put her over here, and I actually made her a little too small. I'm going to make her a little bigger. Just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put all the rest of the elements on here. I probably am going to speed it up a little bit. I know you guys don't particularly like me speeding things up, but seriously, all I'm going to be doing is changing these colors, and I think it'll be a waste of your time to watch me do all that. So I'm going to go ahead and do it, and you can watch at double speed, and then I will slow it down when I'm done. So I'll see you in a couple minutes. Okay, I have one more element to place, and that's this star. And I wanted to show you something different about it, and so I'm going to talk you through it. Now, when we click on it and we put it here, you'll notice there's no squares up here that show the colors. And so immediately we don't know what to do with that, to change it into white. Now, your two choices are, number one, just ignore that and don't use it and go back and go to your elements and put in Christmas star. If I could type. And I'm going to go ahead and click static and click free to filter out everything. And here you'll see the star that I chose, but there's a whole lot more stars on here, especially if you click graphics, it'll eliminate all the photos. And there's a lot more stars, and I'm sure you'll find one that you can change the colors in. But I specifically chose this one because I wanted to show you another option that if you want to try it, it doesn't always work, but it did on this, and I wanted to show you that possibility. So you can go to Edit Image, and then go down here to where it says Adjust, and click on See All. And we're just going to mess with this image a little bit. So we're going to take the brightness control and bring it all the way up to 100, and the contrast control all the way up to 100, and the saturation all the way down. Just those three little sliders. And look what happened. It took all the color out of it. Now sometimes that doesn't work either, in which case I would just say go back to the drawing board and go pick a different star. But I wanted to show you that you can do that just in case you wanted to try it with some image that you really liked. And then the other thing that I wanted to show you is I'm going to zoom in here and see our little Christmas tree here. It's not quite as bright white as everything else. So another thing you can do if you want to make it a little bit more intense white is click on it, and then you'll see this little icon with the plus sign, and it says duplicate if you hold your cursor over it. And I'm going to click it, and it's going to make me another Christmas tree exactly the same. And then what I'm going to do is move it on top of the Christmas tree that I already have there. See, here I am just moving it on top. And you can see that the Christmas tree looks darker, and that's because I've put two Christmas trees there instead of just the one. So those are the other hints that I would give you. And there is our Noel all finished. Now what I'm going to do before I mess it up is I'm going to go up here and unlock it, the base layer, and then what I'm going to do is take my left mouse cursor and hold it down while I drag over everything and get everything covered with this rectangle here. And then I'm going to go up here to group. And that is going to make everything in there all part of one object. So now I can drag it around anywhere I want and put it on the page where I want it. Since I'm going to print it out, I'm going to make sure that it's where I want it on that final card panel and that it's centered. And then the next thing we're going to do is print it. When we go to print these types of files, we want to make sure that we print them as PDFs. And the reason for that is that if you print it as some kind of a photo file, when it goes to your printer, it will get all funny and print in different sizes and not print at all the way you thought it was going to print. So just save yourself a lot of headaches and print as a PDF. So to do that, we're going to go up here to the right-hand corner and click Share. And then you're going to see that there's a lot of different choices here. You can share on social media, you can do all kinds of things. And don't get confused because down here it says print your design, but this is talking about sending it to Canva to print on a t-shirt or to print on something for you. What we're going to do is download. So we're going to click on download. And I already have it set to PDF print, but what you're going to see normally is it'll say PNG and it'll say suggested. That is a photo file, and the reason they suggest it is because most of the time when people use Canva, they don't use it for print files, although that's probably a misnomer because people use it for all kinds of business printing and everything, but it is used primarily for people who are using electronic and digital files for websites and blogs and all kinds of things, YouTube and Instagram, etc. And to do that, you want a photo file, and they suggest PNG. But for printing, the best thing to do is to do a PDF, and there's two PDFs. There's the standard one and the print one, and you want the print one because that is going to give you the best print quality, and it really does make a difference. So you select PDF print, and then all you have to do is download. Sometimes it doesn't come through on your computer screen and you have to do click here, especially because I've printed this more than once, and sometimes because I haven't renamed it, it won't pop up. So if I click there, it will come up down here on my computer screen, and it probably will on yours just automatically. When I click on this, there it is in PDF format. Now it will also be downloaded into your download folder on your computer, but if you click on it and you open up the PDF here, you can use the print icon up here and print it straight from here. Now when you do that, it should show you that it will be printing in that upper left corner of the paper because it's set to print as 1/4 of a sheet. But remember, we set it for 3.75, so it will not print just automatically with the margin that you want. So what I do is I print it to a full sheet just like this, and then I use my paper trimmer to really make it accurate and cut my panel out. That works great for me, and I'm sure it's going to work great for you too. So that's all you have to do to print. Just be sure you save it as a PDF, and then your printing should be easy and carefree. Now I printed mine today on 3 different types of paper, and I'm going to show you here in a minute what the results were, because I do have a particular paper recommendation as well if you're going to be using these digitals and printing them to use in your cards. So let's take a look at those. So here are the 3 copies that I actually printed out today. You can't tell exactly how white the paper is or anything because I took photos of them and then put them here on the screen. But here's the bottom line. The regular copy paper, which is at the top, of course the paper is a little bit off-white, but also it's really disappointing printing color onto it because it just is not very high quality, and I would not suggest doing it, as well as you know that the paper is extremely thin. Now I do have some bright white copy paper, and the paper is still thin, but it's quite white, so with the color on it, it looks better than the original copy paper, but it's still not a very good depth of color, and I was very disappointed in it, and it's also thin. Now, what I do like doing colored printing on for cards is matte photo paper. And I guess you could do it on the glossy as well, but I really like matte photo paper. It's a really good weight. It isn't quite as white as the bright white copy paper, but it's not so off-white that you would notice it or be having a problem with it. It's much more like a nice weight, heavy cardstock, and it takes the color so well because it's meant for photos, and you can tell even in this representation and the photos that I took of these 3 papers how much darker the green is, how much better quality it is in terms of looking professional on a piece of paper. So I will put a link down below to the matte photo paper that I use in Amazon in case you're interested in getting some. I didn't look up the cost of it for a ream because I've had it for so long and I've used it a lot and I still have plenty, so I don't think it's that expensive overall. But it definitely is worth getting some if you're interested in doing any of these techniques I'm going to show you, where you're going to be printing in color and then cutting out the piece and putting it in as a card panel. I would definitely recommend using that paper. So here's our finished product. I really like it. I think it just makes for a festive way to say Merry Christmas. And I showed you all those other examples too. There's so many ways of doing this. And of course you can do it with colored images as well, but the white on the color just has a really unique look to it. Next time I'm going to be showing you some other things you can do that will spice up the insides of your cards or even an outside card panel. Thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate each and every one of you who takes the time to watch my tutorials and to subscribe to my channel. I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Until then, many blessings to you.